Hi, my name is Raj Chetta, and right next to me is
Sachin.
Steve.
You might remember these guys. And welcome to another Crimson Artist Audio Reviews. Sorry if it's been a while.
We've been kind of busy with a lot of stuff lately, so we apologize.
Yeah, but we're still here. We made a commitment to watching Doctor Strange, and we did. And it's pretty amazing, actually. So, if I don't recall, was it me, you, and Steven who watched the animated series?
No, it was just me and you.
Right. So you're going to be hearing a lot of comparisons from the animated feature and this the new live-action film. So before I state what I thought, why don't you guys state what you thought?
All right. So I didn't see this animated feature, and even as a reader of comics, I never really read much Doctor Strange related material. You know, he appears here and there, but never directly. So this was like I was fresh into the Doctor Strange story. Yeah, I know things like the Eye of Agamotto or whatever. But so I thought it was an interesting movie. It had a lot of really, really cool and trippy visuals, a very distinct visual style with the just the way that the effects were being done. It was similar. Like all of the effects were very similar in a good way. You know what I mean? The style of how things fell apart and moved around, and that was really, really awesome. Probably one of the best that Marvel has done, if not the best.
What about you, Steven? What did you think?
Amazing, but goddamn trippy as hell. Like, I've definitely seen a couple trippy movies before, especially the oh-so-famous Inception, but this just made Inception look like a cakewalk now.
Well, definitely not, in terms of like as a story, but
yeah, but in terms of visuals.
Visuals for sure, yeah. It did some crazy shit.
Now, for me, like such, and I knew who Stephen Strange was. I knew about the Agamotto and Dormammu and all that, but I'm not that avid of a Strange reader, no pun intended. But going in, and no, my first experience with Doctor Strange was obviously not this film, but the animated feature, which me and Steven reviewed a couple months back, if not, I think 3 months, I don't remember, it's been a while. But I was fairly disappointed in the animated film because it didn't, it had an interesting premise, but the visual style, it wasn't appealing enough. It just made it look like a generic animated film, and that's one of the weak points Marvel does, is that their animated works are not that impressive, especially when you're I just started taking animation classes this fall, and from what I've learned, you can go absolutely bonkers with animation. You can do whatever you want depending on how your story is told, right? And Doctor Strange seems like the perfect candidate for all the weird and crazy ass shit that would appear in a title like that. But in the animated movie, I didn't get that. I honestly did. But with this movie, the visuals in the live action film were some of the craziest and beyond trippiest scenes I've ever seen in any movie, not just Marvel, any movie. As Steven said, this makes Inception look like a cakewalk. Fuck.
Okay, seriously.
Cakewalk.
And we saw an IMAX review, so it was even more trippy.
Yeah. If I don't normally recommend this. If you're it's more of a preference, but if you want to get that incredible wow factor, I seriously suggest you check out IMAX 3D if you have the money to obtain a $17 ticket. $17. It's absolutely worth it. Trust me. The trailers, the marketing behind this movie is beyond amazing. So no doubt that the movie itself is going to be amazing in terms of its visual style. But what about the visuals can only mean so much if it weren't for the story and characters. And the story, like, it's pretty much the same as the animated film, pretty much. Doctor Strange, world-famous surgeon, gets into a horrible car accident and loses his hands, pretty much. And the only way he can seek back his life is through pretty much sorcery with the Ancient One, Baramoto, and then he has to save the world from the elemental Dormammu, pretty much. It's pretty much the same film as the animated film. There's nothing oh so different, except for the visual style and the performances and the way it was handled. I very much loved this version than the animated film, and that's saying a lot because I love animation, and like the movie like knows what it wants to be, and it succeeds at it, and knows that whenever there's a trippy moment, it doesn't fail to give us that trippy moment, pretty much. And it wouldn't have been done without Benedict Cumberbatch. Let's all agree that Benedict Cumberbatch is pretty much the reason why we all went to see this movie, not just because of the visual effects. Am I right?
Yeah.
He definitely legitimized the movie for a lot of people. You know, they hear the name Doctor Strange. Okay, like this is whatever. I don't know. You know, like it's just he's like basically an unknown to the general public as a character. Right?
I agree.
But having a big name like Cumberbatch, who is not only a big name but a really talented actor, it legitimizes it. It gives it credence. That, you know what, let's go check this out, because if he's gonna sign on to it, we know it's got some sort of merit, right?
And what's really interesting is, like, way before this movie was even announced, I kind of like, I've seen pictures of Doctor Strange even before watching the animated film. I saw him in the freaking Spider-Man animated series from the 90s. And when I look at Benedict Cumberbatch and Strange from the animated shows and the comics, like, I can easily, you can't separate them.
Yeah, it's a pretty really well done casting.
Yeah.
Although I heard this point mentioned on something I was listening to, where they said like, why did he have to have an American accent? I think at certain points he sounded a little British.
I thought it was fine. Like,
it was fine.
So, like, sometimes,
but it's like, do you think people wouldn't believe that Doctor Strange was a British guy? Like,
I honestly
they don't
thought
know people don't know the character, so why would it be an issue if he was a British guy? You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I totally agree with you. But to be honest, like, the accent doesn't really mean much unless it's like.
It doesn't. This is nitpicking,
yeah.
but
That's true.
Yeah, at first it was maybe a little bit iffy for me, but then after a while I kind of got used to it and stuff.
Yeah, like, for me, like I said, the accent doesn't really mean much unless it's, like, really, really freaking obvious. Like, yes, there are moments where, like, okay, sure, okay, all right, you got it, you're good. But, like, with other actors, like, say, what's his name? He was in Pacific Rim. He's a Sons of Anarchy. What's his name?
I don't know who you're
Charlie Hunnam? Is that his name? The guy, the star of Pacific Rim, pretty much.
Okay. And
the entire film, I know that he's an Australian actor, and I'm like, dude, just stop, okay? Like, you seem like a nice guy, and you're a pretty good actor, but just cut the accent, please. It's not working.
Yeah.
But with Cumberbatch, when he was like shifting here and there, it was fixed through majority of his performance, pretty much.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the other cast members? Like, do you think they succeeded in their parts?
Yeah, Tilda Swinton.
Swilton.
Yeah.
Swilton?
Swinton.
Tilda Swinton.
The white witch from Narnia.
And I thought
Sure,
Benedict
yeah.
Cumberbatch's name was hard to fucking spell or pronounce.
Yeah, I mean, she looks like Conan O'Brien. That's how I know who she is.
What?
You've never heard that comparison? He does it all the time on his show, where he shows a picture of her. And okay, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Conan O'Brien as the ancient. Oh my god.
Okay, so she played the Ancient One pretty well. it was all right. I mean, her character was. I don't know. I still this movie like.
I felt
it was
that
really
like
good to like.
the casting was okay, but the problem is like, what do you imagine in an ancient one?
Yeah, like
someone mystical and mystifying, and think like Yoda.
Well, yeah, but
Yoda.
so in the trailers she gave off more of that vibe, but then in the actual like movie, she didn't have that mystical vibe. She just felt like a powerful bald lady that was helping him. You know?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
At the beginning, she was very weird, and you don't really know where she's going. And then her character didn't really go like in like the way the story took it was interesting, but I don't think it played off of that like good enough.
Okay.
You
For Baron, like other than Doctor Strange, Baron Mordo.
Yeah, he was really good. He was
another standout. I forget the actor's name.
It's like Shaquille.
He was in 12 Years a Slave. How do I not know his name? That sucks. But he did a fantastic job, and I can't wait to see more. I want more Doctor Strange.
Yeah, same.
But of course there's going to be some drawbacks, and the obvious drawback, and it's a Marvel movie. You can't have a Marvel movie without a terrible villain. And this movie, it's not that the performances of the villains were bad. It's just the characters themselves were just not that compelling.
They're just one-dimensional.
It's very one-dimensional, and this is something that I need to address personally. This is like Marvel hires some of the best actors they could possibly find for their villains.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen.
He was the main bad guy in Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor, and like what Steven said, Casino Royale, he should have been another standout. Instead, we just got another 2D villain. And don't get me started on what's his name again? Shit. I said the name before.
Dormammu?
Dormammu. Yeah, thank you. Another, like, okay. Well, while this version is significantly better than that of the animated film, which I thought was just like an entity, which is what this version is. Time? It has more screen time, and I'm like, okay. What you see in the film, we're not gonna spoil anything, but when he does show up to have a little talk with our good friend Strange, it's probably one of the most memorable moments within just this like thing, and I don't know what else to say. It was just like that. Basically, Dormammu was just there for a comic foil, pretty much. It wasn't like
Yeah, they didn't use the whole all-powerful destroyer of worlds type.
I mean,
they say it, but they don't use it.
Yeah, they have like all this impressive visuals regarding Dormammu and all what. Like, they kind of give us an idea, but they don't necessarily do anything else. It's just like. Aren't you supposed to be this destroyer of worlds, like a Parallax or some shit?
Galactus?
Or like Galactus.
Galactus? Aren't you supposed to be that? Like, why aren't you stop paying attention to this guy in a red cape and destroy Earth? God, stop it!
I'm also kind of getting tired of every Marvel movie being it's a threat to society and the whole world is gonna explode.
I agree. Yeah, I mean,
which is what Civil War did well. Which is the conflict, even though it's like a big, wide conflict that affects these superheroes. The government is stepping in, blah blah blah. The main plot of the movie is a very personal one.
It's a very, very personal one. But this film. It's just like any other Marvel movie, and that's the sad factor. Like, it's not the title, or like it's not the title's fault. It's practically Marvel's fault at this point.
Yeah,
they really need to find a new way in addressing their villains now. Okay, this is what I lost count. 15th movie in the MCU. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Something like that. So feels like that.
I think it's in the double digits. At this point.
Yeah, like, Marvel, we love you, but just got to change it up a bit. It's not.
Like, granted, they haven't made a bad movie yet. Even films like Iron Man 2 or Thor: The Dark World, while they weren't amazing, they were still relatively decent movies.
There were hits for sure, but I need another wow movie like Civil War. And this movie, while it does give me that wow factor, it's not a wow movie, if you know what I mean. Like, yes, you can give off an amazing performance by Benedict. You can give off these crazy ass visuals, but you're not going to do well unless you give us more than just a great solid lead and a great visual style, and like even the filmmaking in general. Like, take away the visual effects and let's talk about the action for a moment. There is plenty of action. It is a Marvel movie after all, and the fisticuffs moments, they were poorly handled.
Yeah, I mean they're not that fun to watch. They're just like by the numbers. Okay, guy, you know.
Well,
whatever.
they were using like a lot more magical based weapons.
Yeah,
But other than that,
they had cool weapons.
They had really cool weapons.
Those the spirit sword things those villains were using.
The wooden lightsaber, whatever.
Yeah, that thing was pretty awesome. And so like they had the power to do more, and they could have done more, because like in the first scene where they tie the guy up, like that was really cool. That was like, this is gonna be some like they're gonna do something crazy with these powers in the battles.
Yeah,
but they didn't.
And like, one needs to remember that if you're gonna make a movie like this, just take this into account. You can have all these crazy visuals and crazy ideas in your movie, but you got to remember that the audience needs to see everything that is happening. Keep everything at a wide shot, okay? Don't keep things at a close angle where you'll make the audience like, wait, who's punching who? Who's fighting who?
I think not only that, but I think there should have been like more long-range magical attacks.
Yeah, that's
as opposed
what
to just
I
some of
was
the more
expecting.
close-quarters one.
I was expecting more of, using those crazy, symbols and shooting out like shields and all this stuff, instead of just, like close range. Like,
and
how did Benedict Cumberbatch become a fucking kung fu master in
just a couple
however
months.
long he was practicing at the
Photographic memory?
Hermitage?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's such a cop out explanation.
And what's really what's really weird is that this is set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We have Daredevil. Daredevil has amazing fight sequences.
Right.
It's part of this. It's technically the same team in a way. Why don't you take inspiration from your own works? Think about it.
I mean, I hate to keep bringing it back to Civil War, but I think Civil War is the best thing Marvel has done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fight sequences in that movie, the multiple ones, they all blow you away because it's memorable.
Especially the airport scene?
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely
especially the airport scene, because you feel like they use these people with powers and they mix it up and they do all kinds of crazy stuff to fight each other.
And you can tell that Civil War is clearly inspired by their previous works. Remember the Bucky escape scene, like when Cap finds Bucky in his hideout or whatever.
Right.
Come on. Tell me you did not think of Daredevil when he was trying to escape from that staircase.
Right. I mean,
they were clearly taking cues and inspiration from their own work. Doctor Strange fails to do that. Now, note, I just want to point out that Doctor Strange is not an absolute piece of dog crap. That's Suicide Squad.
Or X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah. Doctor Strange does, in fact, deliver on great performances, a pretty good story for the most part, but the villains and the way they're handled and some of the action sequences, take away the amazing special effects, the action is just poorly handled and the villains are poorly handled, and that is something that Marvel really, really needs to address. If you and hopefully Thor: The Dark World,
Thor Ragnarok?
Thor Ragnarok is supposed to be the next installment?
No, next one is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Right, next time when there's another Marvel movie around Earth, technically, let's just expect to see something better in terms of its action and its villains.
Well, in terms of next Earthbound one after Guardians, it's going to be Spider-Man Homecoming, so hopefully they'll do Vulture some justice.
hopefully the Marvel... I'm worried in a way because I felt the same way about Ant-Man, right? It wasn't as visually striking because this is one of the most visually, insane movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it had a good lead, fun, like a fun
premise.
Yeah, some good side characters, a good,
But the villain,
a good motivation for the main character. But the villain and just the plot in general is just, it's very just moving it along. Okay, like how are we gonna put Doctor Strange in this position, and then they wrote a story around it. That's what it felt like. You know?
Every movie, not just a comic book movie, every movie needs to have the following. Not only do you need a good hero, but you also need a good and memorable villain. Look at Darth Vader. Look at the Emperor. Look at look at the Joker. The Joker, one of the most iconic villains of all time. Hannibal Lecter. These are all great villains, and they also
want to
have
add Loki to the mix.
You can add Loki like that. Other than Loki, that's it.
Wait, what about Red Skull? He was good.
No, that movie. I hate that movie. That movie was so bad.
Oh my god.
Red Skull. I mean, yeah, you got to once again. Marvel needs to stop hiring good actors, to portray 2D villains. Because, Red Skull, he was kind of like more of a classy type, but he's still basically another. Oh, cool. We need something for the hero to punch at, pretty much.
Yeah, let's throw some money at this famous dude and let it go.
They need to stop doing that. It's becoming very, very common. The one other good villain, technically, he's no longer a villain anymore. He's a hero now. But he was a villain. Bucky, Winter Soldier, in Captain America the Winter Soldier, before he turned.
I mean, even, what's his name?
When you make the hero a better villain than the actual villains, how is that even possible?
Who is the guy from Civil War?
Zemo?
Zemo, not Baron. Zemo, yeah.
Well, in the original comics, he was called Baron Zemo.
He was Baron Zemo,
yeah,
right?
it's still Zemo.
He's the one that wears the purple hood, right?
The mask.
Yeah, the Adhesive X stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought he was really good, too.
He was really good, too.
He was the basic kind of guy.
Issue report, December 16th, 1991.
Okay, we get it.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so... let's just get down to the final verdict, because this is running pretty long, actually. So, the final verdict, for me, with a really good performances, an incredibly trippy visual style, some okay action, and a villain that really that is basically Marvel's wake-up call into making better villains and a better story arc rather than, what we got. And hopefully, we're not going to spoil anything, hopefully that the sequel to Doctor Strange, it might be better. I hope so. I really do. We'll see. But my final verdict for Doctor Strange is a solid B+. I would give it, it's good. It's a fun movie. You're definitely gonna get a massive kick out of it. Still, see it in IMAX if you have the money. What about you guys?
I would say, I'm torn between saying it's a 4 out of 5 or a 3 out of 5. And not to say that it's not good, but as a final verdict, I have to say, as a movie, it was pretty average. Besides the visuals and Cumberbatch. And all those,
Ex-Benedict.
Yeah, I am Benedict Cumberbatch. I am an American man. But it was... It lacked something which went beyond it being a Marvel movie, and I don't think there will be any wake up from Marvel, because I think...
Let's just keep on hoping, because, at least they're not DC at this point. What about you, Steven?
I'm probably going to do the whole 1 to 10 scale, and probably an 8.7 or out of 10 or whatever. I thought Benedict Cumberbatch was Stephen Strange. I mean, I saw in a bunch of roles. And at first I thought Smaug was his best role, but now it's Doctor Strange in my opinion. The visuals are goddamn insane, and yeah, you should definitely check out an IMAX 3D. I thought all the whole mystical stuff and other things like that were definitely very well handled. Though, and I thought maybe Dormammu was a little bit better. I mean, he's not amazing, but then again, who is at this point? But other than that, it does feel like kind of by the numbers at this point, but I still thought they would at least try to change some things up a bit. And yeah, I really do wish they would try to fix their villains a little bit. I mean, in terms of some of the Marvel villains, there's some that I know some people say aren't really that amazing, but I don't know, in my opinion, I thought they're pretty decent, like Red Skull, Ronan the Accuser, all that stuff. But for this guy, I liked him about as much as, say, Malekith the Accursed. I mean, to be fair, he was a little bit better than that guy. I mean, at least he did shit, but...
Who's Malekith?
Thor the Dark
right,
World.
yeah. See what we're talking about, Marvel? You see what we're talking about?
But other than that, he did better than him, thankfully, but I just wish he actually had more stuff to do to at least make him a little bit more interesting. But
Okay.
I'm hoping they might be able to fix that soon. Maybe in either Guardians 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok,
Well,
I don't know.
We will never know. Anyway, we're running out of time here. So, thankfully, this is much, much better than the animated feature. Thankfully, this is much, much better than Suicide Squad. But yeah, my final verdict stands. It's a B+. Go check it out. Just keep in mind, you're gonna get fucked in the head. Just saying. But yeah, that's all we have for today. Please hit like, subscribe, and hopefully you get to see more reviews. And anything you want to add on before I close out?
I'm good. Just enjoy the movie, I guess.
Steven?
No, that's probably just about it. Just go check it out, but be careful. It is very trippy and stuff.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear from me later. Bye-bye.